Welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where I talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. How's everyone today? I'll tell you, I've been so excited for this all day long, and I'm just thrilled that those of you that are here. Thank you so much. And I just want to shout out and let you guys know how many people from around the country: Annapolis, Maryland, Bradenton, Florida. Hi, Lori. That necklace you got, that is really special. I had wanted to keep it, but I knew you fell in love with it. So enjoy it. I'm going to miss having it. So enjoy it. Montreal, Southern California, Chicago, New Mexico, New York City, Montreal, and Chicago. Oh, you have nieces there. California coast, the Central Coast. My daughter's in the Central Coast of California. New York, Lakewood, Colorado, Tucson, Arizona, Southern California. Oh, the Villages. Hey, my old home stomping grounds at the Villages. Redmond, Oregon. Suzanne, hi, honey. I didn't realize you were Swan Song Vintage in this. That's my friend Suzanne. If you watch my thrifting channel, Studio Kimberly, and if you don't, you should, because it's really fun. Suzanne's my buddy. I have the most fun ever when I get to go out thrifting with Suzanne. We just have such a great time. We get to go in the morning. I'm so excited. I'll be out there at 6 a.m. all ready to go. Let's see. We have Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Elizabeth City in, is that North Carolina? Georgia, Pennsylvania, Sarasota, Florida, Palm Springs. I lived in Palm Springs for 12 years. Imagine that. Gosh, it seems like so long ago. You know why? Because it was. I moved there when I was in my mid-20s, was there for 12 years. That's where my oldest daughter, Heather, was born. Lakewood Ranch, Florida, Satellite Beach, Florida, Richmond, Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia. How fun, UK, da-da-da. Thank you so much, you guys. I have something kind of, not kind of exciting, super exciting to talk with you about. And I'm hoping, this is my hope. And so make sure that you can type on your keyboard. I want to have a conversation. And I realize I'm the only one with a microphone, but you guys are over in the chat. And so I just want to have a talk with you guys about something. And it's exciting. At least it's exciting for me. I don't know if it's exciting for you yet. But I do want to start out by telling you what I was doing today. And I just got done, Suzanne, you'll crack up. I've been making cookies today for the ladies' night out, which is September 13th from 5 to 7 at the Swan Song Vintage Shop in Redmond, Oregon. We're having a meet and greet ladies' night out. If you don't know about it, where you been, girl? It's going to be so fun. So I've been baking cookies all day, organic cookies, but they do have sugar in them, so they're going to be yummy for the ladies' night out. And that's been really fun. I'm going to do the chocolate chip cookies when I'm done here. So that's been fun. All right, I'm going to launch in because I know that you have better things to do than to listen to me yammer on all the time. But I want to tell you a story first before I kind of move into what I want you to share with me. And that is of kind of the trajectory of my travel life. I actually started traveling when I was in high school. I spent 2 summers in Mexico in San Miguel de Allende, long before San Miguel de Allende was a tourist spot. It was a tiny, tiny little pueblo in the middle of the high desert, but it just happened to have a college. It's called the Instituto de Allende, and it's an art college. And I spent 2 summers there when I was in high school taking art college classes. And it was a great experience because it was a tiny little pueblo in the middle of the high desert. I'm telling you what, I was like an alley cat running around that town because it was safe. It was sweet. I was eating mangoes on the street. I was hanging out with the gang. I had a blast. Plus, I took college art classes. So that was the first time I lived in Mexico. Fast forward after I got out of college, and it was right before I was married, but I was with the man that I was eventually going to marry. We actually lived in Zihuatanejo in Mexico, and worked in Estapa. Now, this was long before Estapa was a tourist spot. We actually worked in a hotel that had just been built. It was a tiny, tiny, tiny little town, and they thought maybe someday it would be something. So that was kind of the second time I was out of the country and lived somewhere else. And then as I was in my 20s and 30s and the girls were around, we went to Tokyo a lot. I went to Tokyo a lot because my brother lives in Tokyo. My brother has actually lived in Tokyo for over 50 years. He went there at right when he graduated from college to just stay for a year and learn about the culture. Well, guess what? He never came home. And every year he would say, oh, I'll just in one more year, just one more year. Well, he ended up getting married to a Japanese woman. He lives in Kyoto. They bought a house. He had a daughter. I mean, so he's never come home from Tokyo. But I have gone to Tokyo several times to visit him, and some of the best vacations ever, taking the girls to Tokyo and having them experience that culture. So that was kind of happening, during the raising kids and, married years. And then later on, after the girls had flown the coop, I let them leave. I never should have done that. I was living up in Incline Village in Lake Tahoe. I had a little place up there right near the lake. And it was winter and there was a lot of snow, and I don't ski, but I do snowshoe. But how much can you really snowshoe? I mean, really. So it was after Christmas and kind of, things were settling down. And I thought, maybe I should go somewhere for a couple of months while all the snow is here. So I hatched a plan, and I ended up living in Florence for 2 months. That winter, I was there for February and March, and I had the best time. I was in Florence in a little cute apartment. I was not in a car for 2 months. I walked everywhere in Florence, and if I wanted to go somewhere else, I would take the train. I had the best time in Florence. It was lovely. I have not been back. I would love to go back someday. So came home, had a great time. And then where was I living? Oh, I was living up in Portland with my oldest daughter, Heather. I was in Lake Oswego, and all of a sudden I got this idea to go travel. And I put together a plan, and I sold everything that I had in the little place we were living. I put, gave my daughter a bunch of stuff, got rid of everything else. And I took off. And I took off out of the country, and I was out of the country for a year with just a carry-on suitcase and a backpack. And the first place I landed was Tulum on the Caribbean in Mexico. If you've ever been to Tulum, you'll know why I went there. And this was a few years back, so I think Tulum was still sort of up and coming. Now it's kind of fairly well known. So I was in Tulum. I think I lived there for like 4 or 5 months. And then I went down to Bacalar, stayed in Bacalar for a couple of weeks. And then from there, I flew to Cuenca, Ecuador. And I lived in Ecuador, I think, for about 5 or 6 months and had a great time. There's a great expat community in Cuenca. I made a lot of friends. We're still friends. We connect on Facebook. That was a great experience. Again, all I have is a carry-on suitcase and a backpack this whole time. And then I went up to San Miguel de Allende. I had some friends up there, so I went up there and got a little apartment. And I eventually rented a house, like a 2-story house with a patio on top of it. It was like $550 a month or something. It was crazy cheap. And lived there for several months. And it was my intention to keep that house as a rental. And then the kids could go down there and we could all use it. It was so inexpensive. But I ultimately just let it go. So the reason I am telling you all this, and you guys know I've traveled around the country too, is over the years that I have been on YouTube, I've had some of you, a few of you, more than a few, ask me if I would ever consider doing a trip for you guys, a travel trip together. And I always said no, because I just didn't feel like I was qualified. I don't know. I felt like I was sort of out of my league or whatever. And I wasn't sure I had the personality for it. You guys might think I'm real social. I'm not. I'm pretty quiet. I'm kind of a one-on-one person. And I thought, well, maybe I don't have the personality for a trip. But in the last few weeks, it all of a sudden dawned on me that if anybody's qualified to travel, it might be me, because I've traveled so much and I really realized that, yeah, I kind of know how to travel, and I know how to travel very lightly, and I know how to travel successfully. In all the traveling I have done, all of it, I have not had a single bad experience, not one. I have not been in a situation that I didn't want to be in. I didn't never had anything stolen. I mean, I was just, I don't know. I guess I was always just careful or conscious about what I was doing or whatever. I never had a bad experience, which is probably why I kept doing it. So what I want to talk with you guys about today is I'm kind of getting the travel bug, and I kind of feel like doing something fun, and it would be an honor for me to go with other people. It would be a lot of fun for me to go with other ladies. And my question to you is, I have two questions. The first one is, does this sound fun to you? Is this something that you would like to do? I know that I'm kind of a travel person and I'm comfortable going to new places, but maybe most of you just like your own bed and you want to have your own coffee in your own living room, and you don't really want to go anywhere and do anything, and that's fine. If you don't want to go, I understand completely. There's times that's me too, but maybe you do. So if you could, over in the comments, write either yes or no. And if you don't want to say no, you could say just not at this time. And if you want to say yes with an exclamation mark, that will tell me that you're excited about it. So somebody just said, where are you going? That's my next question. Here's the thing. I think we could have a lot of fun together. And I think that I could be helpful because I've traveled a lot. I have a place in mind for a trip that I'm not going to tell you guys because you might have a better idea than I do. And so if the answer is yes, where would you like to go? Because I know that you guys are going to come up with things that I haven't even thought about. Although I kind of have something in mind that I think will probably fit with kind of who I think you probably are if you watch my channel. I think that there's probably sort of an interest, a common shared interest, or personality or something if you watch my channel. I don't think it's the standard beauty channel. I think we do other things. Okay, so I'm getting yeses. Elizabeth says maybe. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being super honest. Sounds fun. I'm interested. Ladies only. I don't know. That's another question. Do you guys want it to be ladies only? I was thinking about it last night. It's like if somebody wants to bring their husband, why not? But then maybe some ladies just want it to be a ladies' trip. I don't know. What do you guys think? It would be up to you guys. It's not up to me. So let me know if you did go, if it ended up being something you liked. Would you want it to be ladies only, or are you good with husbands? Men are different, clearly. Okay, are we talking domestic or international? Well, not the US. I think we would go somewhere. Not that we couldn't do a domestic trip at some time, but I think this would be somewhere out of the country. Okay, so wish I were 20 years younger, Julie. I'm almost 69. So unless you're older than me, you don't have any place. Ladies only. Okay. Throw your idea out there. Back to Mexico to show us your favorite places, or Europe, Scotland, Italy, or Spain. Ladies only. So there's 2 ladies only. Is there anybody who wants to bring their husband? Maybe people just say, I want to leave my husband at home. I'd like to just, be at the girls' trip. Banff in Canada. Wow, that's an interesting, I hadn't even thought. Portugal, I have not been to Portugal, but that was actually on my list when I was out of the country. I ended up having to come home, but that was on my list. Someplace with mountains. I don't mind women or men and women. So we have one, don't mind, a couple of, just a girls trip, no spouses, Scotland, ladies only. So this is Phyllis, not David. Okay. Athens is boring and Santorini is too busy. Okay, we're talking Greece there. Australia, at the risk of being pushy, Sicily. I haven't been to Sicily. I would think something that includes outdoors culture and yes, ladies only, but not because I have anything against men. But maybe we just want it to be ladies, I'm 88 with health issues. Okay, all right, I get it. Leave the husband home. Oh gosh. Ladies only. Portugal is beautiful. Been there. Peru. I thought about Peru, like Machu Picchu, that sort of thing. I have not been to Machu Picchu. No spouse, ladies only. Slovenia. Okay. Tuscany. Since I'm basically a homebody, not very fond of flying, I would say no. Okay, Gina, thank you. However, I would love it if you could keep a travel log where we could live vicariously through you, your YouTube channel. I thought about that if we end up going, first of all, I would film it. And I might even have someone film it for me, like get a videographer. And then we could have a little website where everybody uploads their photos in real time, like at the end of the night. And then we could all see everybody else's photos and share photos back and forth, because then we can get pictures of ourselves and other people's photos. And then you guys, the people that weren't able to go or didn't want to go, could see the photos. How fun would that be? Wouldn't that be fun? I'm sure there's a picture kind of thing that we can set that up. Ireland would be good. Mount Etna. Where's Mount Etna? I don't know that. Croatia, Peru. Washington would be interesting. Washington State? Yeah. Iceland would be interesting. Wouldn't Iceland be interesting? I don't know if we want to go in the winter. Maybe in the summer. You guys have such great ideas. Okay, so Debbie says, although I don't want my husband to go, he is amazing at putting photos in a store together to show the day's doings. They do come in handy, those men. Ladies only. I love to attend, but I'm a busy lady and need to plan. France, go stay with Abby at Chateau Chronicles. Joint YouTube. I prefer to leave my hubby at home. Iceland, Australia, or Hungary. Gosh, you guys are just a wealth of information. Okay, so if you want to go, and it sounds like there might be some of you that want to go, are you flexible about where you want to go? So let's talk about this question. Do you just want to go somewhere? Like you're good with wherever we decide pretty much, unless it's someplace that's just distasteful to you or you just have no interest in? Are you interested in getting together and us going somewhere? Or is it that you need to go to a particular place? Because there's so many great suggestions here. I would be hesitant of anybody getting too attached to one destination, because if we don't go there, does that mean you don't want to go? Do you want to go on a girls trip, on a fun, adventurous girls trip, or do you want to go to a particular place? That's the next question. So open for adventure. That's what Jean Carroll says. Absolutely. I'm game for the adventure. I suspect that might be what it is, because I know there are so many great places on the planet. I know because I've been to a lot of them. It's oftentimes just the adventure. And now I think it's important for me to move into what you might expect if you're going to go with me on a trip, because ultimately it comes down to me making the choices and putting together the itinerary. And let me get a drink really quick. Fun, adventurous trip makes the best memories. Schmoopy goes vegan. Hey, Schmoopy. Is that you, Jen? Are you schmoopy? I'd follow you gals anywhere. Oh, Scotland or Italy. Okay. I'd love to go to your favorite thrift stores, etc. You know what? I would love, love, love. This is a separate topic. I would love to do a little thrift girls trip here in Oregon. So that could be on the agenda. That would be so fun. So fun. You can't believe how much fun Suzanne and I have. At least I have fun. She says she has fun, but she might be lying because she don't want to hurt my feelings. Anyway, okay, so back to what kind of trips I put together. And just, kind of mull this over because it will make a difference. I do not do the kind of travel where it's 4 different things in a day and you're getting on a bus and going someplace new every day and it's rush, 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 go, 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 da, 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 da. I don't do that. And I'm sure you're not surprised at that. I pick what I think is a fabulous place, like Florence. The reason I went to Florence for 2 months, 1 month wasn't long enough. I went for 2 months. The trip is not going to be 2 months. It'll be about a week. But I like to go somewhere and just become that place, get to know that place, chill in that place, and just experience that culture and the food and the locals and the architecture and what it is there. I like to learn about the place a lot before I go because I have found that when you understand the history of any place on this planet, your experience there becomes so much richer and deeper and meaningful because you are able to understand the trajectory of how this place came to be and why the culture is like it is and why they grow what they grow and why they, interact with each other in the way they do. My trips are more experiential. They're not rushed and they're not packed to the brim. It's more of you get there and you just take a deep sigh of relief and then you just start blending in and learning and doing and really getting to know the area. So that would be the kind of trip that I would want to do. Something that we just all look at each other at the end and say, wow, that really was meaningful. And it was deep and it was rich and it was filled with fun. And we learned so many interesting things and we did so many cool things, but it also felt kind of rejuvenating, a little peaceful, little soul enriching, rejuvenating. So that's the kind of trip that I would want to do, not a 90 different things in a week kind of thing. So just keep that in mind, if you're interested. So I'm interested to see how you guys respond to that. So Debbie says, I agree about living as locals live. Yeah, I like to just get into the culture where I'm going. I agree to a slow-paced travel, nothing fancy required. Oh, Roseanne says, and thank you, Mofi. That's exactly what I like. I went to Scotland, Finland, and it was amazing, pretty remote. Somebody, Nan, love your vlogs. Thank you. Margaret from South Australia. Cotswold, slow-paced travel, please, not fancy. Yeah, good. I think, I kind of suspected that you guys would sort of be on the same page with me just because, sort of like minds seem to coordinate together or they find each other. So here are the next steps. If you could, if it's convenient for you and you don't mind, I know you guys are talking over in the chat. That kind of is harder to access when I'm done with the video. If you could put your travel destination selection in the comments below the video, you can either do it now or later. That's easier for me to start figuring out where the real interest is. And it's easier for me to access that information. And then what I think I'll do is I'll start, sort of working on putting it together and seeing, what we can make happen, when we can make it happen, and just sort of the logistics. Again, as I said, I kind of have someplace in mind. And the reason I have this in mind is my guess is that 99.9% of you haven't heard of it. And it is extraordinary, extraordinary, particularly if you love the planet and beauty and an interesting culture. So there's a place that I'm thinking about. It doesn't mean it's locked in. It's not. I want to see what you guys have to say and investigate your thoughts as well. So I'll start working on it on my end. But any information that you can give me as far as your preferences, like I want it to be all women, or I want to bring my husband, or I only want to go to Europe, or I only want to go to Asia, or I only want to go to Thailand, or I only want to go to Bali, or I only want to go to Costa Rica, those kind of things. Tell me what your parameters are, and I'll try to work with everyone. But here's the kind of the ending of all, or the culmination of all this. Since I decided, and I don't know why I was so nervous about doing a trip for a while, and people have been asking me for a while, and I just always said no, no, no. And I don't know why I was that way. I guess that's just some things we do in life we don't understand. But now that I feel like I can do it, I've got all these ideas. So I think this probably won't be the last trip. Won't be, it won't be the only thing we do. And we can do some more stuff as time goes on. And I would love to host a thrift trip here in Oregon. How fun would that be? It'd be fun to meet over on the coast of Oregon and just do some thrifting up the coast. Wouldn't that be a blast? I don't know if you guys enjoy thrifting. I certainly do. It's like a treasure hunt. So the Seychelles, wow, I hadn't thought about Bhutan, Guatemala. My mother spent a lot of time in Guatemala. She was a real traveler. She would go for 6 months at a time. She went to Guatemala and Oaxaca, and she was one of the original people to start bringing back the Oaxacan goods, the hand-woven clothing and that sort of thing. She was a hippie. What can I say? Debbie, I've been a lot of places. I could return to them or someplace completely new. I'm easy when it comes to travel. Yeah, me too. I used to say to people when I was younger, I'll go anywhere. I'll go to Lodi on a bus. I don't care. I just wanted to see stuff. All right. So that's the cat's out of the bag. I'm thinking about doing a travel trip. I really want the feedback from you guys, though. And any parameters you have, like it has to be, I don't know, what, in the Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere or something like that, or I have to come with my husband, or don't make me bring my husband, that kind of thing. Ladies only, no place where you get sick from the water or malaria. Yeah, malaria would not be fun. Fortunately, there's just a lot, of stuff that we can do if we go someplace that's a different culture. I've gotten upset stomachs in a lot of different places just because, the whole flora, fauna, and the bacteria thing is different in different areas. So your body has to adjust to it. And that's just something that we can work on getting our immune system up before we go. Maybe you just needed to settle in a bit since traveling and exploring certain things, your health, food, etc. Now a treat. Yeah, actually, now that I've decided, it's so exciting to me. I'm not thinking about anything else. So, anywho, all right, ladies, that's kind of what I had wanted to talk with you about. First of all, are you interested? Second of all, do you want to go? If you can, and where would you want to go? So those are things we'll be thinking about over the next couple weeks, and then I'll probably start looking into specifics. That's Lucy. I think a FedEx truck. Hey, that's enough, sweetie. FedEx truck just showed up. All right, does anybody have any questions of me that I haven't covered or haven't thought about? Let's see. Road trips. Oh, that's a great screen name. Just pick a site and go for it. Those who are meant to go there will make it. Oh, that's so true. It is so true. The rest will go on the next trip. The Philippines, Palawan, I've never even heard of that. Wow. That's Linda, 69, single 69-year-old woman, same. Just bought an RV and a truck, hitting the road soon with my 2 dogs. Okay, how did you do that? How did you do that? And this is what I want to know. I would be so nervous about pulling a trailer, and I'd be so nervous about hooking up that trailer. I think the stress of that would just freak me out. Does it not freak you out, or did you pull boats when you were younger? I have a girlfriend, her name's Patty. She's got like 5 years on me, so she's in her 70s. She lives in Reno, where I live. She pulls a truck and trailer all over the dang country. And I look at her and it's like, how do you do that? Well, she had a boat when her kids were young, her boys were young, and she'd hook that baby up and take them skiing at the lake all summer long. So she did it when she was younger, so she's super comfortable with it. I think I would freak out. That lifestyle would work for me. It really would. It's just the logistics. And here's a little secret. I actually bought a trailer, one of those little pop-up trailers, when I was in Reno before I left. And I was going to go travel around in that trailer. Well, it ended up that the trailer had some issues and I decided I didn't want to buy it. So I didn't, but I was going to learn how to do it. But now I think I'm too scared. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. What brand are your glasses? I have no idea. And I'm pulling them off as though I can see what brand they are without my glasses on. That's just ridiculous. I don't know. I have no idea. I've had them for a while. I did my first time today. I got a sway bar added. Linda, I am so impressed with that. I am so impressed with that. I love that. I love that. I love that bravery. I love the ability to do that. That's amazing. You could actually copy an itinerary from a meetup group for a great idea. DM me. Thanks, Sherry. Is that a new chair? No, this is the chair. This is one of the chairs I got when I first moved in. My idea sounds great. I trust your instincts. Okay, my first time here, age 67, Las Vegas, single. Go, Linda. No kidding. All right, ladies, that's the gist. It sounds like there might be interest. It's like it'd be terrible to put together a trip and nobody wants to go. That would not feel good. Oh, gosh. So I think we have some interest. If you could, over in the comments underneath the video, not the chat over on the side, but the comments, if you could put any, like strong opinions, like ladies only or not ladies only, put it down there so I can start, understanding what we need to do, what we need to put together. And any requests for locations, that sun's getting wild on my face, would be great, because even if we don't do it this trip, there's no reason why we can't, do it down the road. And my guess, you guys know how I love to travel. Honestly, I'm going to have to nail my feet to the floor at some point in my life. I doubt that this will be the only trip, but being able to go on the first trip, how fun would that be? Anyway, so that's what I have. Any strong opinions you have or strong ones, put it in the comments below the video so it's easier for me to assimilate that information. And I will continue to keep you all updated. And then if it ends up being a reality and we've got a trip and we've got so many spots and we're getting ready to book, don't worry. I will completely let you guys know and make sure you're really, really clear on where we're going, what we're going to do there, how it's going to be, everything, and how you sign up. Because if we have a lot of people that are interested, they'll probably sell out pretty quick. So I want to make sure that everybody who really wants to go is able to go. So that's what I have for you today. Any last minute questions? Heck yeah. I love heck yeah. Oh my gosh, Bebop, are you kidding me? She says, I'm 72 years old and live in an RV. It's not hard to do all the hookups. See, I need to go and stay in one of your campsites and watch you do it, because maybe I would get over the fear of doing it. I don't know. It's still Zion. I would love to do Zion sometime. Have I been to Zion? I can't even remember now. I was in Ivans, but I don't think I've been to Zion. Lori, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy that necklace. Lori bought a necklace today I really wanted to keep it. It was so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your questions and your ideas and your suggestions. You guys are always so good. You expand my awareness and you expand my thinking process and everything. So I appreciate you so much. You guys know that. I've got a wild video coming on Sunday. I actually cry in it. Not full-blown tears, but I start crying and then I have to sign off because it was getting too much. It's interesting. It's, typical Kimberly, little, you think you're doing something and you take a left turn. So don't miss Sunday's video. It's something that is really near and dear to my heart. So thank you. All right. If you have any questions that I didn't address, put them in the comments down below and I'll try to answer them. I'll get busy in the background working on this. Give me a week or two to see if this is really something that logistically we can pull together, and then we'll start firming the details up. So thank you, ladies, so much. I love, love, love connecting with you. And, the idea of being able to spend some time with a bunch of you that's going to feel pretty good. So I appreciate that. All right, everyone, make it a great evening. I'm going to go back to making cookies for the meet and greet Saturday night, September 13th, 5 to 7 in Redmond at the Swan Song Vintage. The information will be in the Sunday morning email newsletter. You guys know that. All right, take care, and I will see you in a video this Sunday. Bye now.